I need to talk to someone specific today. Not everybody, but somebody very specific. The woman who has done the work. She's gone to therapy, read the books, did the healing, raised her standards because we said in 2026, all 2026, we were raising our standards. I mean, she's changed her environment, her circle, and actually went out and bet on herself. And yet she is still waiting. The wait, it's starting to feel like it's breaking you. If that's you, I need you to stay with me today because I have something to say that nobody else is probably saying to you. And I think is really important for you to hear in this season of your life because everybody teaches you how to become. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest things in my retreat that I hosted this year was all about becoming. And most people, and you're talking about how to decide, how to heal, how to grow, how to rise above all the things that are happening in your life to become the woman that you are looking to become. And we celebrate the becoming. We love a breakthrough story. We love the glow up and the transformation, but nobody teaches you what happens after you decide to become, after you step into the becoming, and your life on the outside looks exactly the same. You said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to step into the life that I was meant. I'm going to step into the business I was meant to. I'm going to go out and work on becoming the best version of me. And nothing moved, or at least it feels that way. Because I know it is like you're like, I did the inner work, but you're still in the same job, still in the same city you want to leave, still waking up alone when you thought by now things would look different. You thought if I did the inner work on me, you know what they say, that you have to become the wife now. You've done all that work, but still nothing looks different. And you're still building something that hasn't taken off the way you believed it would. And I want to ask you something today. How long can you hold on to the woman you've decided to become, when your life keeps showing up looking like the woman used to be? That's the real question. Because a lot of people don't quit because they didn't do the work. There are so many people out there, especially now in 2026. Everybody keeps talking about, oh, nobody's doing the work. I know there are so many people out here putting in the work on their emotional intelligence, or leveling up on so many different levels. But most people quit because they did everything right and the outside still doesn't match the way they feel on the inside. All the things they learned, the coaching that they did, the mentorship that they did all of this, and yet the outside doesn't match yet. And so the space between who you become and what your life currently looks like, that's the most dangerous part of transformation. I call it the transition faith. I call this transition space is actually the space where you need your faith probably the most. It's literally in that gap because you're doing everything. They're telling you, oh my God, you have to be consistent in social media. You're showing up constantly. You're putting up the content. You're looking. They tell you to niche down. You niche down. You're working towards getting the clients, and yet these things are still not happening. That's the most dangerous place right there. It's not the beginning. Most people are like, oh, it's hard for people to start. There are so many people who are starting and they're not getting to that place where they can quite finish because it's that in between that rocks their world. They start the business in the first year or two, there's nothing happening, and it's like, well, I don't know if I can go a third year like this. And so that's the space. And the hardest part, I keep saying, it's not becoming that person, it's staying faithful when your life hasn't caught up yet. Because when you're healing, you had to push against something, because that's the thing too. It's like pain will motivate you. Heartbreak will motivate you. Rock bottom will light a fire under your butt because you have no other choice but to move. But when you're in that transition place, when you're in that gap, that's where it's different. In the gap, there's no crisis to respond to. There's no emergency pulling you forward. There's just you every single morning choosing to keep going based on something you saw for yourself that nobody else can verify yet. This is just you every single day choosing to keep going when there's no result, choosing to keep showing up even when nobody else shows up. Do you know how many times I've, put on events or I've done something online, literally in the past nobody would show up. And so how do you keep going every single day? And people are telling you, oh, you're getting closer. I remember that too. It's like, you're getting closer, you're getting closer. And you're nodding, you're smiling. And I know you're thinking, how would you know? Because that's exactly what I used to think. Like, how do you know I'm getting closer? How do you know? And it's that intense pressure of, how do I keep showing up, feeling rejected, feeling abandoned, feeling unsupported? Because when you don't feel any closer, you feel like you're running a race with no finish line in sight. And everybody that's on the sidelines keeps telling you to keep going, but none of them are running. Oof, that's the thing. They're in their jobs, they're comfortable in their lives, and here you are trying to pursue this dream with everything that you've got. And that's great. I know it's great to have people on the sidelines cheering and telling you to push and go and to keep moving forward. But when they're not running, they don't understand that feeling of when you're crying in the shower and nobody sees you, and you're crying in a car and you're like, how much longer can I keep going? But here's what I want to say to that. Feeling progress and making progress are completely two different things. And somewhere along the way, we decided that if we couldn't feel it, it wasn't happening. And we've talked about this before, where I've talked about, but feelings aren't facts. And so I want you to think about something. Think about an iceberg, right? What you see above the surface is maybe 10% of what's actually there. The other 90% is underneath the water, invisible. But that's exactly what makes it one of the most powerful and immovable forces on the ocean. The depths is where it is what gives it weight. The depth is what gives it weight. And that's you right now. And I'm going to be honest, that's me right now. And the people around you can only see 10% above the surface. They can't see what has been built in you underneath, the capacity to discernment. I mean, building the capacity alone can feel like it's breaking you. I felt that. The rooms you have been prepared for that don't exist yet in your visible life. So when someone says you're getting closer and it doesn't feel true, I want you to sit with this question. What if you can't feel it because the most significant work is always done beneath the surface? Why am I saying that to you? That's literally what happened when I built this retreat. In the beginning, I felt like nobody was going to sign up. Nobody would come. Nobody would want to invest in themselves in this particular way. I was just going through all of these motions. I'm crying every day, but I was putting in the work, and I have been putting in the work for years. I have been I've literally paid 6 figures worth of coaching, all the mentorship. I have been putting in the work to build me to become the person that could facilitate transformation and healing for women, to help them to become. And so all the work that I was doing, I wasn't feeling it. But when that retreat happened, baby, oh my God, everything that I had went through, everything that prepared me for that weekend came in, and everything changed. But I didn't feel that way prior to it. That's what I want to share. Feelings are not fact. You cannot go off your feelings alone. Your feelings will have you quitting. And right when you're getting ready to quit, it is a true saying, everything is about to change, because I promise you, in the beginning of this year, I was going to quit. I was ready to give it all up. But when I stepped in that room on April 29th, everything changed. And everything, it wasn't about me, because it's so much bigger than me. And that's the other thing I want to talk about too. Your feelings are about you, but what you're destined to do, what God has for you to do, is so much bigger than you, is so much larger than you. And if you can start to think about that, that'll help you shift too, because everything that I've been preparing for was so much bigger than me. And it helped every single person that stepped into that room. And I'm going to be honest with you today. what happens is when that happens, it's like, oh my God, I've climbed yet another mountain. I call it my Mount Kilimanjaro. I'm at the top of the mountain. But when you go to the top of a mountain, you stand up there and you celebrate, as you should, and you should savor in that moment. And I talked about that a little bit last week. You also know that there is another mountain to climb and that you have to go down. And so right now, I'm talking to you from the other side. I'm not talking to you from the other side of this. I'm talking to you from being right in the middle of it. I know what it feels like to have done all of the work. And I'm telling you, like, I've done all this work and I've hosted a retreat. And now I'm standing in a place that doesn't match, what I know I'm called to. I know I'm called to bigger. I know I'm called to do this model, the retreat model, year round. And just, that's what I'm called to. I know what it feels like to keep building when the numbers are crawling, because let's be honest, right? We show up every Sunday, we do the YouTube videos, again, we post the content, and it doesn't feel like it's growing at the capacity of which you want it to grow. I feel that some days. I know what it feels like to believe in something so deeply that walking away would feel like you're betraying yourself, but staying is costing you everything. I've had to ask myself that question. Why haven't you quit? Why don't you just walk away? And I don't have the best answer for you, but what I know is this. Something in me refuses to believe that this is the end of my story. That staying in my career, and I've been in there longer. I got it to be 29 years in September. I know that I was called to that career to take care of my family. I know I was called to that career to make sure that my children lived in what I considered at the time the best place for them. Moving to the suburbs and trying to give them the life that I felt like they deserved. That was great, but that's not the end of my story. I refuse to leave this world and die with all of my gifts. I know I have so much more to give to this world. And I know you do too. And so maybe that's something in you that's refusing to quit, even though it feels hard, even though you've been crying, even though you keep putting out the content and it feels like nobody's clicking, or you should be at 1 million plus viewers and you only have maybe 10 or 50 or 700, whatever that number is. I know it's tough in that moment, but maybe the reason why you keep growing even through the tears is because you know deep down too that you are destined for something greater. And when you're going after a dream, it doesn't feel good all of the time. Maybe that's what's keeping you going. Maybe that's what's keeping you going. And so I get that. And so you have to ask yourself, what is it in the deepest part of you that is still holding on, because that's your why. You got to get back to the why, because whatever that is, that's the thing that's going to keep you going. The women who can change the world are not always the loudest. It's so true. I know sometimes we're looking at some of the biggest players, I think her name is Emma Grede, and you have the Oprah Winfrey's of the world. They are setting this world on fire. But I'm telling you, there are some CEOs, and what is her name? Oh my God, I'm gonna mess it up. But there are some CEOs out here. You have no idea who they are. They're doing great things in this world. Great things in this world. And so sometimes you may think, I don't have enough numbers, but what if it's everything you needed to just go ahead and keep pushing, to keep going after what it is that you're going after? Don't worry about how it feels today. I promise you there's going to be victory. I promise you there's going to be victory. I feel the same way about me. I just have to keep going through the process of that. I'm telling you, sometimes the biggest players in this world are the ones still at their desk, still showing up, still posting when nobody's watching, still praying, even when they don't feel like it. A woman who keeps going when she has every reason to stop is one of the most powerful women on this earth. You are one of the most powerful forces on this earth. I promise you, because what it's building in you, What is building in you is the capacity, because when you're building something, especially when you're in entrepreneurship and you're building something big, it's going to take everything you got. So I want to challenge you today, okay, just with one question. Who would you be abandoning if you quit right now? That's the very question I had to ask myself. I felt like I would be abandoning my kids. What it was that I teach them, I teach them to go after what it is that they want in this world. But if I quit, who am I abandoning? I'm abandoning every woman that's assigned to me. When they say the sheep shall know your voice, that's a very real thing. There are women and men assigned to your voice, what it is that you have, what it is that you're supposed to put out in this world. And if you quit, you will be abandoning them. And what if it's the very thing that you say in the very next video that's going to save somebody's life? And I didn't think that was true either until I got an email one day. I had this feeling, this inkling to go live on TikTok. And I didn't want to do it. I didn't feel like it. I'm like, oh my God, nobody's going to join. But I did it anyway. And I got on and I was talking about God and how he loves you. And I just was talking. Do you know, and I gave my email towards the end. I said, if feel free to reach out to me because I'm a coach. And I got an email from a man that said, I was literally thinking about taking my life. And I logged on to TikTok and I heard you speaking. And I want to thank you. What if that, if I, because sometimes we're thinking about the money too. There is not enough money in this world that you could give me that was worth that man's life. Because sometimes we hold back and it's not enough money. And I get that because that's a tool that we absolutely need in this world to survive. I understand that. But that is priceless. That is priceless. So you showing up, you never, ever know. I'm telling you, you would also be abandoning you. You would be abandoning the woman you became, the woman who chose to heal, even though, you look around and you think, oh my God, nobody else is doing the work, but you're doing the work. The woman who said yes to herself. You finally said yes to you. And you want to quit on that? Who finally believed that you were worth betting on, who finally believed it was worth putting down that drug, putting down that alcohol, putting down that relationship, putting down those people who were around you that meant no good for you. And I know that feels lonely. That's the other thing that nobody talks about, how lonely it feels when you're working on climbing something because you are sacrificing your time. You're being alone. You're not around those same people doing those same things, having those same conversations. I tell people all the time, my phone is dry. It's very, very dry, and that can feel lonely. But if you quit today, you're not just walking away from what it is that you want. You're walking away from who you became to get it. And here's the thing, you have so much more. Don't quit on you. You worked too hard to get to this place. How do I know? Because I know that life stays lifing and it's not easy. You have been faithful in private. That means something. I tell people all the time, your name means something. You've been consistent, hardworking, showing up. When no one was clapping for you, I know what that feels like too. You were like, oh my God, you put this thing on, you think all these people coming to support you, and they don't. And we're thinking that it's supposed to be family. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a stranger. And stop being upset for them for not having the capacity or the strength to support you in the moment. They can't, and it's okay. You have to keep going when the results are not present, because you have to know what's going to come. Keep choosing yourself over and over again. I know that it could be easier to stop, and it may feel like it will be easy, but that's not the truth. But I want you to know today that I see you. I see the videos that people put out and no one's there. No one's really liking them. I see you. But bigger than that, God sees you. He sees your obedience. He sees your commitment. He sees that you're going to keep showing up and say yes. So when he finally gives you the thing that he's going to give you, he knows you can handle it and it won't crush you under the pressure. Sometimes we want something right now that we're not completely ready for that will crush us. And I believe that the gap does not last forever. How do I know it didn't last for me forever? I told you when I first started, no one showed up. I just held the retreat and I had 8 women pay. And to some people, they wouldn't think that's a lot. You wouldn't think that's a lot until you knew that I only wanted 10. So I almost filled that thing. So that's huge. And I know the next one is going to be bigger, not because I can prove it yet, but because I know what faithfulness can do. I know what faithfulness will produce. I know with what being committed, keeping committed, keep your eye on the bullseye, no matter what happens. I told you on the beginning of the year, biggest heartbreak of my life. I'm crying every day. It did not matter. I kept my eye on the prize. And because of that, the women that came to my retreat experienced transformation that is going to literally change their entire generation. How about that? And when I'm talking about their lineage within their family, because of the change that the transformation that they went through. But you have to stay in it long enough to find that out. And so I want to leave you with this. I don't know if the win is right around the corner. I don't. I won't promise you that because that would be dishonest. But I do know this. You don't want to live with any sort of regret. You don't want to go to your grave not having given it one more chance, one more season, one more Sunday, one more yes, one more video. You don't. The woman that you become deserves at least that. I know this too. If you keep going, the answer is going to be yes. It is going to happen. How do I know that? Because it happened for me. And I don't say that I'm special. I say that I'm different. I don't think I'm better than anybody, but I know that I'm different. And here's what I know about you. If you're showing up and you're putting the work, you are different too. And so it's going to happen. So stay her. Don't go backwards. That's the other thing that happens. That's the biggest trap. You're like, oh, I'm doing all this work to become the better person, and life is going to test you. And when life tests you, you feel like, oh, I'm going to go back to that person. I'm going to tell you something that recently just happened to me. I had a conversation with somebody who really broke my heart, real talk. And I'm in this conversation. I could have went off. I could have said nasty things. I could have tried to hurt that person feeling. But the woman that I had worked on becoming, she's not that person anymore. Why would I do that? Why would I throw away all my hard work on my heart, on my mind, and my soul? All because I don't have results of something else yet. Because a lot of times we take that anger out on people as well. Don't go backwards. That's the test. Show up like the woman that you know that's going to have everything she's putting in the work for. Stay her until life catches up, because I promise you that outer world is going to catch up. Till my start was a 322 a month welfare mother. When I started, I couldn't have afforded to build the house that I built and actually purchase another townhouse after divorce. All of that stuff happened because I decided not to quit. I decided to keep going even when it felt hard. And I promise you, I cry a lot in the car. People don't see it. They don't know what I'm crawling through. They don't know when the money looks funny. They don't know when I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to pay that bill. No one knows that. Those are the things that the people on the outside cannot see. They can't see when you're crawling. When you're like, I just can't take it one more. I can't have one more thing happen. And because I decided to take one more step, one more yes, and not quit and refuse. I said, I'm not going to my grave without putting my gift out. It's happening. And I'm going to say this one last thing before I let you go. My cousin who passed away, and we just celebrated her 38th birthday. She passed away at the end of 2024. She wrote a book. None of us could find it to publish it. She left this earth without putting her gift out. And I know, because she's so much like me, that she went to her grave with that grave. They would say it's the richest place on earth because people's dreams go to die there. Her dream died. Don't let that happen to you. Keep going. Know that when it gets tough, do the thing. Get you a coach, get a mentor, join a circle, a community that help you keep going. I tell everybody, I have a coach, therapist, mentor, and I'm in 2 different communities because I know that the secret to success is who's in your corner that will keep you going, who will hold you high when you're ready to walk away from it all. Because I'm telling you, your dream is going to save lives. Okay? So I love you. I hope you have the most amazing week, and we will talk next Sunday. Bye now.